The American radio, one of the pinnacles of American innovation and entertainment. So, how did this talking telegraph become so widely known throughout history? My name is Rodolfo Esparza, and in this speech I will be discussing the golden age of radio and how it became so widely known and how it brought America together. So let's begin with this. How did the radio become such a popular innovation? To find out, we have to go back in time, about 100 years, to the early 20th century. The golden age of radio was a period from the 1930s up until the 1950s, with new mediums of communication eventually coming along and phasing out radio, such as a television becoming more widely available to the American public. Now, according to PBS, for the radio in the 1930s was a golden age. At the start of the decade, 12 million American households owned a radio. And by 1939, this total had exploded to more than 28 million. Now, the radio was soaring in popularity during this period, judging by the amount of sales. At the start of the 20s, hardly any Americans owned a radio, and sales skyrocketed during this period, allowing millions of families to tune in all across the country. Now, Italian inventor Guillermo Marconi received a U.S. patent for radio technology in 1904, 3 years after he claims to have sent the first transatlantic radio signal. Radio was the first tech that could instantaneously communicate to a mass audience because it allowed continuous, up-to-date news and entertainment for people regardless of their income or literacy levels. It became immensely popular. I myself own a radio. I like to use it to tune in on my favorite songs. My favorite genre is countries and jazz, and it allows me to stay informed while I'm occupied with something else. Now, the next point. How did radio boost morale? Keep in mind that this was the period following World War I. The economy was in full swing, and everything seemed lively. Everything was going great. The economy was booming, more Americans were moving into the cities, and the future was looking bright. This was until the stock market crash of 1929. All of a sudden, millions found themselves out of a job with little means of opportunity to support themselves. Homelessness was also skyrocketing. Now, archive.gov states during the 1930s, many homes had a radio, and families typically spent several hours a day gathered together to listen to their favorite programs. Roosevelt called his radio talks about issues of public concern fireside chats. Informal and relaxed, the talks made Americans feel as if he was talking directly to them. Roosevelt continued to use his fireside chats throughout his presidency to address the issues and fears and concern of the American people, as well as to inform the public of positions and actions taken by the U.S. government. Even when things were looking dire, the radio allowed millions of Americans to tune in to and listen to their president, boosting morale and keeping hope in the country, ensuring all that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. Now that we have some major reasons as to why the golden age of radio came to be, let's wrap this up. The golden age of radio was truly a booming time in American history. Tech advancing, society as a whole coming together, all in the name of progress and the future. Millions of Americans united, connected through this one invention. Even in the face of danger and the Great Depression, America as a whole persevered, and they did see the light at the end of the tunnel. America prevailed with the help of the radio. As a result, the golden age of radio truly was spectacular.